Thank you, Mr. Chairman, colleagues, heads of government, Governor General of Barbados. I crave your indulgence, of course, to adopt the protocol so ably set before me. It is indeed a great pleasure and an honor for me to address this distinguished gathering on behalf of the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. A strong spirit of fraternity and kingship has been fostered among Caribbean leadership for more than 4 decades, especially among the enthusiastic group of officials, technocrats, experts, and academics who frequent our CARICOM summits and meetings. I commend the infatigable spirits of those who have labored selflessly over time in the interests of the regional integration program. St. Kitts and Nevis, of course, has never wavered in its commitment to the broader Caribbean vision of a people working together for common good. Our leaders, from our first national hero, the Right Excellent Robert Bratcher, his successors, heads of government, Premiers the Honorable Paul Southwell, the Honorable Limor, and the Right Honorable Sir Kennedy Simmons, our first Prime Minister, and the Right Honorable Denzel Douglas, all played their constructive roles in effecting reforms to facilitate a truly integrated CARICOM region. Sir Robert Bratcher gave up elective political office in St. Kitts and Nevis to become the first Minister of Finance of the ill-fated West Indian Federation. St. Kitts and Nevis's support for regional integration secured for it a place in the annals of history with the Treaty of Bastia, establishing the OECS, and the revised Treaty of Bastia, establishing the OECS Union. We are also host country of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, the Eastern Caribbean Stock Exchange, and the Eastern Caribbean Home Mortgage Bank. I come to leadership here, wedded by history, by experience, lived realities, and a conviction to the vision that the Caribbean will be at its best when we work together as one people, one destiny. Since assuming my role, I have met and interacted with many of my colleagues, heads of government, and other officials at several regional and multilateral fora. I am always struck by the camaraderie and solidarity that so naturally characterize all our engagements, which always bring to mind the wisdom enshrined in Psalms 133 at verse 1. Oh, how good and pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. I have chosen to organize my address around this central principle, which is both the key that unveils the secret to our progress and success as a union of small, vulnerable, and open island economies and coastal states, despite seemingly insurmountable odds, as well as the defining compulsion and imperative for our continued survival in a world of rapid upheaval and transformation. From this vantage point, we see that Caribbean unity is not merely pleasant in terms of the love, the peace, and harmony that flow among us, that moisten the heart and give us a sense of community, of identity, and commonality of interest, but it's also sensible, profitable, and necessary that we pursue and consolidate it in our self-interest. On the 16th of February 2015, I had the privilege of leading a tripartite movement called Team Unity to Victory in the federal elections that took place in St. Kitts and Nevis. The overwhelming wave of support that transported our team to the helm of leadership in our beloved Twin Island paradise of St. Kitts and Nevis, in our view, representing a resounding mandate for a new direction to be set and established that would usher our people to a new heights of prosperity, success, and well-being. For too long, rampant political tribalism had divided our nation, stifled the nascent potential and promise of our young people, and stymied our prospects for inclusive and sustainable job-rich growth and development. For the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, the time for change had come, and the clarion call for unity was sent forth as a call to action for the new leadership to address perennial domestic challenges as they relate to reducing the cost of living, attacking unemployment, persistent poverty, citizen security, low growth, and a high national debt. The time had come for a unified approach to democracy and development that had eluded the people of St. Kitts and Nevis for too long. Likewise, ladies and gentlemen of the Caribbean community, we are living in a historical conjuncture whereby regional unity, as a vital strategy for building economic resilience, driving growth, and fostering inclusive and comprehensive social development for each nation, is even more an imperative today than it was in yesteryear. Today, the member states of the community are at the front lines of some of the most serious global problems, generally not of our own making, and whose impacts bear on us disproportionately, posing a threat to our way of life, our welfare, and even our own existence. Such challenges include scarce access to concessionary sources of financing, unsustainable debt levels, additional demands and compliance costs associated with global efforts to combat terrorism, organized crime, and tax evasion. Of course, the list goes on and on. As was evident in 1973, when the Caribbean community was established, the people of our community recognized then, as they do now, the value of being together as small states in a competitive and asymmetrical world that sought and continues to seek to condemn countries like ours to a structural condition of dependence, irrelevance, and limited fiscal space. Their clamor for unity was heard resoundingly with rising crescendo in the consultative processes that resulted in the report of the West Indian Commission way back in 1993, the Grandon's Declaration that created eventually the single market and economy of 2011, and of recent vintage, the CARICOM Strategic Plan 2015 to 2019. At each historic juncture in the ongoing quest for regional integration, the people of our community have declared resolutely that after more than 400 years of being acted upon, it is time for us to act for ourselves and to do for ourselves what no one else can, will, or should do for us. Let our ingenuity, our industry, and unity lead us to a new level of democracy and development for all our people. The year 2015, you have heard, is a seminal year during which several major international meetings will be held to bring all elements of our global society into a collective conversation about how we can work together to respond to the pressing issues of our day and secure global compacts as they relate to the most salient and urgent issues on the international agenda. Such meetings, of course, include the United Nations Post-2015 Development Agenda, the Third International Conference on Financing for Development, and the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change Conference. As such, this year provides an ideal opportunity for the Caribbean community to leverage the full weight of its collective voice and vote towards ensuring its effective and meaningful participation in these negotiations, asserting and inserting a small state perspective and protecting the interests of the people of our community. This year provides a rare moment in history to engender a paradigm shift that would allow the independent nations of the region to finally break free from systems, agendas, and philosophies that were put in place long before we were able to have a voice in the world community of nations. It is certainly time for us to stop fighting against our own. And it is a matter of disappointment for us that we have failed to consolidate around a single candidate for top posts at the OAS and the Commonwealth Secretary General. We must return to the better days when leaders opted for unity instead of division, which vitiates against the ascendancy of the best among us. The extent to which the Caribbean community will be successful in securing vibrant societies and building resilient economies will turn on how successful we are with carrying the flag of unity forward. The strength of our resolve will turn on the strength and involvement of our citizens in carrying the integration process forward. I am therefore heartened at recent advances